Welcome to the Liberace Mansion.
Welcome to Under the Vegas Sun, looking at the people, the events, and the news surrounding Las Vegas and the entire Vegas Valley. Hello, I'm Steve Schorr. We are live from the Liberace Mansion. This is a very, very special week here at the Liberace Mansion. The Liberace fan club from around the world will be meeting right here in this mansion for a very special event. They celebrate the life of Liberace, and this year would have been his 99th birthday. This, of course, is the amazing concert grand piano that Liberace used to travel with. It's an amazing piano, and he was indeed an amazing man. Next year will be a huge celebration. It will mark the 100th birthday of Liberace. You'll hear more about that in the future. Our very special guest on the program today, also an amazing entertainer, and a man who has appeared in no less than 6 different showrooms in Las Vegas. We're very honored to have our special guest, Mr. Frankie Scinta, and his new performance, his new life. You'll meet him in just a couple of seconds. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Frankie Scinta, downtown's king of entertainment. You're watching Under the Vegas Sun with Steve Schorr.
My kind of town, Las Vegas is. You know, that's what it is. It's all about entertainment. I can't sing, I can't perform, but in Las Vegas, we have some of the best performers any place. Our very special guest today, one of those performers, an amazing man, good friend of mine, Frankie Scinta.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
My kind of town.
It's pretty
Sounds
good.
it not?
That's
No,
pretty good.
It's one note. That's all I
That's it.
have is one note.
Can't hire you, but I mean,
I understand. You know, I was thinking about you. Year 2000, you came to Las Vegas. I don't know if you believe that you would be staying in Las Vegas as long as you have. This is now your 18th year in Las Vegas. You've been in 5 major hotels as a headliner. The Hilton, the Sahara, the Rio, the D, the Plaza. And now you're at another facility. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Did you ever think, Frankie, that 18 years after you got here, you'd be the performer and the headliner that you are?
when we first moved here, we rented because we weren't insured. I was the last one to want to move to Vegas. I loved the life we had. We were touring all over the East Coast and Midwest. We were making great money then. I guess for us it was great money, and I didn't think. Because, nothing here lasts, 5 years?
5 years.
That's it. And it happened, and I'm still here. It's not been a smooth 18 years, with the crash of
2007 and 8 was tough.
Wow,
Tough.
that was tough. I mean, I was singing at a Shell station up on Decatur and Sahara. But it was tough. But you know what? We got through it. You brush off the dust, and you stand back up, and you give it all you got.
For a long time, it was all about family. It was all about the things that you were about. Started with mom and dad. Your dad was a great individual who helped you along, and you became this amazing musician. I believe the difference between you that has helped your longevity is that you are what you say you are. You are a showman. You're not just a performer, you're a showman. Does that come from inside, or does that come from outside the experience with the audience?
I think I had it at 5 years old. I mean, I wanted to play everything. I wanted to sing everything. Every instrument I saw, I go, I could play that. I could learn how to play that. And I always wanted to. I always had the desire. And anything I put my hands on, like the piano, the banjo, the mandolin, the guitar, and the silly spoons, who knew that'd be the most requested stupid thing I do on stage?
Really? I know. It's amazing. Jake, our associate producer, Jake, can you bring in the special instruments that we have? Because I think that is one of the important things.
Oh my!
So I gave you 2 sizes of your special instruments. You can pick
now,
which one
now
you
I'm
want.
a big star, so
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, now these, they all have different sounds, but now that I got those big, fat Sicilian hands, so I use the bigger ones now.
Okay.
So I'll lay the little ones down.
Okay.
So I was singing at a place called Johnny's Old Time Tavern, Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York.
Playing the banjo, singing Al Jolson songs. And on the stage that was the headliner that night was an Al Jolson impersonator. Came up and sounded exactly like him, moved like him, you know, tut, 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 say goodbye. And then he took out spoons and he played them. And I watched this guy. I was like, and I go, oh my God, he's playing the spoons. All I did was eat with them. You know? So I asked him after the show, I said, can you show me how to hold the spoons? He goes, well, kid, you know, not everybody can do it. It's not as easy as it looks. I said, just show me how to hold them. And he actually showed me, you know, you put the thumb and then they don't move. And that's how the whole damn thing starts.
But you have become a master of this, and every time that you play it before an audience, they go crazy. They go nuts over it.
I don't get it, but it's kind of like tap dancing. It is. You know, when you watch Gregory Hines tap out a beat, you know, and you would say, oh my God, that's really cool. I guess, and you know who loves it the most? The young kids. They'll come up to me after the show. Could you show me how to do that? So I think I'm going to put a YouTube tutorial out.
You should.
YouTube tutorial. If you could get that.
Easy for you to say.
It's easy for me to say. I almost lost a tooth. And it's just, and then when he did this across his forefinger, I was like, oh my God. And it just came naturally to me.
You do in your show today, you do a piece where I've never seen anybody do it as quick and as fast as you do. I mean, you actually, you know, I watch Pete, your wonderful drummer, and he kind of sits there and goes, what the heck am I supposed to do now?
I'm always throwing him off guard. I don't know, man. I always loved it. I can't dance. One thing the showman can't do. I can do a soft shoe. I can't do a time step. That's something that I always, every dancer can do that. I can't. So this was as close as I got. And I love doing it, man. I do. I can't wait till that time comes in the show. I turn into a little kid again.
You do.
And I really do. It's not as easy as it used to be.
No.
Because it really is.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of work.
Especially when you're going really fast.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, man, I love doing that. I love doing it all. I just have a ball up there.
There is a time on stage that you're never afraid to take on the audience, number one. You're never afraid to take on the audience.
A little bit.
I was there the other night, and you took on a gentleman in the front row who did not clap. He just didn't clap. It became a challenge for you.
Well, there's a little Don Rickles in me. Always has been. I don't know if it's the Sicilian in me or the entertainer. Probably a little bit of both. You know, when Pete says, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. The showman, Frankie Scinta. And I come running out, and there I look in the front row with, you know, 400 or 500 people in front of me. And there's one guy
doing that.
I got to stop.
You know, behind his mind, he's saying, okay, entertain me.
That's it. Come on, idiot. What do you got?
What do you got?
Right? I paid to see you.
Tickets. No, entertain me.
So I stopped. Who do you see on stage today? Stop the entire band.
Not many.
No, not many. And that's
most of the time they're lip syncing in anyway, so they can.
Yeah, no, right? I wish I could. I'd probably be better. I stopped the band. Hold it, guys. I go, and I reiterate to Pete. Pete, how did you introduce me? I said, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. I go, yeah, sir. What's your name, sir? Yeah, David. David, hi, David. Good-looking man, David. Where are you from, David? Wherever the hell he said he was from. I go, did you hear him say it? They go, oh, yeah, I heard him say it. David, could I show the entire audience? Now, folks, you don't have to do anything. I'm going to show you what David did because you can't see him. So, and then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Frankie Scinta, and I do, this was Dave, and Pete says, and this was Dave. And that's what I do. I don't know why I did that the first time. I don't know if it was because I know the other people are into it. I want that guy that's not into it. Maybe he's had a bad day. Maybe he's had a bad year. I want him to smile. I want him to laugh. I want to get his funny bone.
But your entire show is that way. Your entire show is a bit of the new, a bit of nostalgia, a bit of the comedy, a bit of happiness. I honestly believe that your show is all about making people happier when they leave than they were when they came in.
I hope so. Yeah, I like to touch their funny bone, their heart, their mind a little bit. And you know, it's not always that way. The day before you came to see the show, I had a horrible day on stage. The crowd stood up the same way. I just walked off stage thinking I didn't get them.
Really?
And yep, it happens 1 out of 100 shows.
What happens inside of you?
I don't know. I knew from the opener, right as the show opened, I thought to myself, it's not me today.
Really?
Honest to God. It happens, and if you're an entertainer, you know what I'm talking about. It happens once in a blue moon, and when it does, there's almost no recovery.
Is it the audience that you're reacting to, or is it what you're sensing?
It's not the audience, it's me. It's just the magic. Sometimes I don't know if it's God's way of keeping us humble. It could be. If it is, I'm okay with it. I don't go to bed ever before 2 in the morning. Ever. Even if I lay in bed at 10 o'clock, I'm up till 2. I was in bed that night at 7 o'clock.
Really?
And asleep probably
that
by
much of an impact on you?
It really bothered me because I couldn't put a finger on what it was. And it's been that way my whole life. But I believe it's God's way of saying, hey, kid, you're still nobody.
But you are somebody. And you're probably one of the strongest entertainers, strongest men that I know. I'm going to take a break for a couple of seconds. I want to talk to you about this amazing amount of strength that you have and how that can benefit a lot of people that are watching right now. So we're going to take a break for a couple of seconds. When we come back, more of this amazing entertainer, Frankie Scinta, and we'll talk about his new plays, what he's doing, all those things. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Martin Ravenhill. I am the proprietor, owner of the Liberace Mansion, and I welcome you and invite you to explore all of the incredible features we have available at this historic house. Liberace lived here from 1974 until his death in 1987. Since then, I've been able to remodel and restore this house to its former glory. Here we have 15,000 square feet of amazing historic space available for weddings, ceremonies, corporate events, and charity fundraisers. The Liberace Mansion. There is no place like it in the world.
The life of an entertainer. Sometimes it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Sometimes it's tougher than most anybody truly knows. A very special guest on the program once again, the amazing Mr. Frankie Scinta. Welcome back to our program. Buddy. 1 October was a time in Las Vegas that I think impacted anybody who was living and breathing at the time. The entire town was impacted by it. The entire community felt the sadness, the hurt, the harm. I think as entertainers, a lot of pressure was brought upon all of you to continue to perform. That was a tough time. As an entertainer, how did you deal with that situation?
Wow. You know, since the beginning of time, or some of the worst of times, like World War II, you know, there were the WPA orchestras that went around to entertain the troops to keep their morale up. When that night happened, it was, I remember sitting in the backyard with my brother Tony. There we were having a drink and smoking a cigar, talking about things, life, family, like we always do, eating. That's what we do. And all of a sudden, my phone started to blow up. Oh my God, turn on the TV. And there it was before us. The gunshots, and it was surreal. I mean, I'm sure it was for everybody.
For me, it was a very similar reaction that I had when I woke up in the morning and watched 911 take place.
Oh.
It was a very, very similar reaction.
It stops you. It stops everything before that proceeded in your life. It's like, what is this? And you felt helpless, as you did on 9/11. And I literally, because I'm the kind of guy that wants to help, and I'm thinking, what could I do to help? Could we go there? Could I save somebody? And you couldn't do anything.
You could.
Not a chance.
About a month later, an event was taking place in Las Vegas called Vegas Cares at the Venetian Hotel. For the audience's understanding, Frankie, all of his life, I believe, as an entertainer, it's always been the Scintas, a family event, a time when the stage was filled with Frankie, his brother Joey, at times his sister Chrissy. It was always a family event. The night before, Vegas Cares took place, and you and Joey and the Scintas were going to appear on that show, dedicating yourselves to making entertainment take place. Your brother Joey had a stroke, a pretty severe stroke. Subsequently had a number of strokes and eventually died. For most entertainers, Frankie, they would have given up. They would have gone away. They would have said, that's it, I'm done in life. 2.5 hours after your brother died, you performed on the stage at the Plaza Hotel. You said at the time, it's what Joey would have wanted to do. You showed, I believe, so much strength in dealing with tragedy. We all deal with tragedy. I've dealt with tragedy in my life with my son. You've dealt with tragedy. How did you respond so incredibly to what was a true tragedy of your life? Because you and Joey, who I think was 9 years older than you, were so very close. He was the comedy side of the show in many cases.
He was the dean. He was the Jerry. I was the dean. You know, he was the Costello. I was the abbot. It was. When Joe, I was at work and I was just ready to. We were rehearsing, getting sound right, and the phone rang, and it was Joe's wife, and she said, "I just want you to know Joe passed." And I paused for a second, and I said, "Okay." I said, "Thank you." I hung up the phone, and everybody looked at me, and everybody on stage knew. They go, "No way." I said, "Okay, guys." The president of the hotel, he heard before I did, because evidently somebody posted it on Facebook, which I wasn't privy to because I was getting ready to work. He walked, a great guy, Jonathan Jossel, walked up on the stage and said, "Let's cancel the show." He goes, "Please, just go be with your family." And I said, "Jonathan, how many people we got?" He goes, "We got a pretty full house." You know, the room only sat about 250. He He goes, we got about 2:30, something like that. I said, we're doing a show. He goes, come on. This is the way it's got to be.
And by the time that show started, it was standing room only. It was sold out completely. Yeah. This town turned out for you.
It was really hard, but I put my feelings aside because I knew that if Joey were to make the decision, he would tell me, get up there and go kick some butt. And that's what I did. I looked at the band and I hugged everybody and vice versa. I said, let's do this, guys. Let's go. And I didn't say a word about Joe till the very end of the show.
Very end of the show.
I said, folks, for some of you that don't know us real well, if I wasn't as funny as I usually am, I apologize, but today I lost my brother. And the crowd obviously was shaken. And I said, but this is what Joe would have wanted, and it's what I got to do. I was put on this earth to entertain. This show is for you people, and just your family, hug them a little more. Tell them I love you a little more. Even if you don't like them, always love them. You know, Joe and I didn't always like each other.
That's my question. That's my question to you. There's a lot of people watching this show now that facing tough times, that facing a loved one who is gone, and maybe a loved one who's very ill and in hospice and needs to find strength. What advice would you give them?
Well, you know, you could replace your friends, or you could delete them off Facebook, which is real easy. You can't replace your family. There's no replacing your blood. There isn't. You could argue with them, fight them. Joe and I fought. We argued all the time because I wanted to do an hour and 70 minutes. He wanted to do an hour and 10, And if I went over 5 minutes, Joe was crazy. When we were making the big money at the Rio, Joe was, if I went over 5 minutes, oh my God, he wanted to fight. And, but we always loved each other. Always, I don't care what religion you are, what nationality, what faith, color. Listen, your faith is a rock to stand on. Whether you're a baby, whether you're 100 years old. That's a rock. And there's nothing wrong with standing on a rock when this world is basically sinking sand. We see it on the news every day. That faith is what keeps you going. The love of your family, that hug from a brother, sister, children, grandchildren. I got 6 of them now. My God, I'm getting old.
I wear a pin every day. That pin says make a difference. And it's all about making a difference in someone else's life. And sometimes it just takes a smile or a hug or saying it's okay. We see it every day in our lives. And I just did a rant on Facebook about people hating each other. And we've got to end that. We've got to get back to people who believe in each other. And that's what you do on stage in a lot of ways, Joe.
I try, man. And I think irrespective of our differences, we need each other. We do, man. The world's, you blink and somebody else is gone. You blink. It's like I could leave here and one of my family members could be gone. That's why we need each other. We all do. Whether we're on the right side of the party, the left side.
Doesn't matter.
Look, it doesn't matter. We need each other,
Yep,
man.
we do.
We got to put aside the hate. I mean, I remember when Republicans and Democrats didn't agree, and you'd see them at parties together.
In Congress, they would have lunch together. Now they're completely separate from each other.
And then they'd go argue on the floor.
Exactly.
But it's gotten really ugly. And I think that's because I have a feeling it's the lack of faith, that foundation. They've taken God out of the schools, and I'm not a real religious guy. I'm not. Just watch me perform. Or just watch me drive and swear at people.
Even worse.
Up Spring Mountain, those poor little Asian ladies that go in the left lane at 20 miles an hour with their right turn signal on all the way up. You should see me. I'll kill you. But we need that, man. We need a kid that doesn't have a mom or a dad to go to school and hear, you know what? If nobody loves you,
I do.
I do.
Yep. Okay.
That's it.
I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. We have this great piano behind me that we've not put you in front of. Our next show is a big show for me. It's show number 200.
Wow.
You were the first person that we had on the show right here from the Liberace Mansion.
He couldn't get anybody else.
Would you?
Everybody said no.
Would you stay?
They said no.
And do another show with me, because I believe that the 200th show should be Steve and Frankie. Would you do that? Hang around?
Of course.
$5 I'll get you.
All right.
Thank you, my friend. We'll be back with closing words in just a couple of seconds.
Hi, I'm Eamon Springall of Stitched at the Cosmopolitan, and you're watching Under the Vegas Sun with Steve Schorr.
You know, like I've been saying, Frankie is just an amazing entertainer, such an amount of a showman that he is. By the way, as he had mentioned, he's at the South Point Hotel now here in Las Vegas. It's a great show. I know you'll have fun. Again, Frankie Scinta, the showman. Until the next time, I'm Steve Schorr. Be safe and enjoy life under the Vegas sun.